I swear, I should have expected nothing less. They wander across a tragedy, and how do they spend their time? Gawking at the dead like they're nothing more than a sack of cloth and flesh to be looted. Bloody parasite. Wait, can you see me? Elves, teeth. How'd you manage that?
The dwarf's eyes narrow, and he squares his shoulders. His hand seems to instinctively drop to his waist.
That a fact. And here I thought our darling Bishop Alexander was the only one. So God-woken and powerful, eh? Powerful enough to control mind? To force brothers to draw steel against each other? Well, someone out there can. As sure as the sea's wet. We were doing some work round these parts. Smuggling, stealing, removing the odd witness. You know, bread and butter stuff. We were sitting here, eating, drinking, telling tales. When some of the lads, their eyes turned black as pitch. Next thing I know, my best mate's buried his dagger in my gut. And there's void woken everywhere you look. Them that didn't die were carried off to the cave. Might be I was the lucky one, lying there, bleeding out. Kind words. But there ain't none that'll undo what we saw. Most we can hope for now is some peace in the Hall of Echoes.
I found something. Look out! I see a trap nearby. Look out! I see a trap nearby.
It's attacking! Evasive maneuvers, Quaggas!
Careful! I spotted a trap. Look out! I see a trap nearby. Careful now, that's a trap.
The spirit looks out to sea, then to the fire roaring behind him, and whistles.
Ooh-wee! Pretty cunning of them, don't you think? Light the fire and draw 'em in. And an effective one, too. Lohar's dwarves light it, ship's captains follow it, and sploosh, the cargo spilled all over the rocks, right for picking. Saw a big un go down just the other day. Dare say those wreckers are drowning in contraband. No wonder top brass figured something was up. Turns out the folks round Reaper's Cove don't take too kindly to Magisters sneaking about. Especially not the dwarven kind. One of them was here tending to the fire. Got me 'fore I got him. I'm a Magister, all right. Well, I was. But yeah, dwarf Magisters are as rare as a three-eyed imp. But when you're hard up, well, sometimes you gotta make choices. Oh, that's mighty kind of you. Can't very well do it myself. Well, you probably guessed that. I'm thankful, friend. Blessings on you, akin, and you.
Careful! I spotted a trap.
It's attacking! Evasive maneuvers, Quackers!
Blood is ice. The void is here.
Go, worm. I require more. Pathetic little creatures.
Were they talking to that void woken?
I don't know what that's about.
spirit keeps... How can I help?
The spirit of the dwarven battle mage gazes upon the mutilated body that once housed her. As you approach, she turns confused eyes on you. She stares uncomprehendingly at your outstretched hand, slowly raising a bewildered gaze to meet your eyes. She stares, and you feel yourself drawn into the mesmerizing source pools of her eyes. With a jolt, her life flashes before your eyes. You become her in her prime, battling a felled magister in a deserted clearing. Electricity crackles from your fingers as you advance upon the magister. The magister is part of something dark, something cruel, something that goes against the very fabric of your being. All bets are off. Merciless, you attack her with spell and blade. As her warm blood spurts to cover your face, you are sated. A satiety you would never speak of, a satiety that momentarily fills the emptiness within you. Wait, who are you? You can't remember. You are thrust out of the spirit's memories and back into your own sovereign mind. You see the spirit of the dwarven battle mage before you, eyes downcast now.
The void is strong here. Even the stone is infected. The void is strong here. Even the stone is infected. This body is fresh. Were they a sorcerer?
Ah! Has it turned on us or just lost its mind?
The spirit tugs and tugs at the source collar around his neck, though it budges not an inch.
We couldn't. I couldn't. Is it really our fault? The void woken.
He gives you a look full of hope, then remembers the collar round his neck and slumps forward, letting his hands hang heavy by his sides. You shift uncomfortably as the wagon traverses a patch of bumpy ground. The magisters haven't removed your shackles, even though there's nowhere to run. You sigh and gaze outward. The landscape rolls past, empty and still. But then, you see something flying close to the horizon. Several things, in fact. You peer closer. What are those? Birds? Your eyes widen as they draw nearer. Those aren't birds. You turn around to shout a warning, but it's too late. You feel a tidal wave of panic drown you. You try to crawl away, but claws pin you down. You look up to see a fanged maw lunge at you. A dwarven spirit cowers on the ground, trapped in the fear of her final moments.
No, no, please! Help! Someone! Help!
With growing horror, she turns her focus on something unseen, looming high above her.
Looks like this is Lohar's place. Or what's left of it. Could more...
The trembling of the dwarven spirit tells you the halberd in his hands may not be enough to withstand his unseen enemy. He drops the halberd and bolts behind some nearby rocks.
Divine, save me! I don't want to die, please! I don't want to die! I don't want to die!
The spirit screams and screams as something unseen tears into him.
There's a void woken on the bridge ahead. But where's it going?
A frantic dwarf knocks an arrow to a phantom bow. He lets it fly at some towering, invisible horror, visible only in his mind's eye. He reaches for another arrow.
Keep firing, damn you! He has to have a weak spot. He has to.
The ghostly dwarf ignores you, but the word Mordus forms soundlessly upon his lips. He drops his bow and yanks his sword from its sheath.
Come on, you filth! Let's see what your insides look like!
There's nothing there.
Gods, what happened?
You tried to make a break for it, from Fort Joy to the beach. You didn't make it. You died to the sound of your own echoing screams as the Voidwoken gnawed your bones. You tried to run. Your source collar was heavy around your neck. You slipped on the slick stone, and then they were on you, dozens of mouths feasting on your still living flesh. Her gaze falls on you, a glimmer of awareness. She raises her hand as a greeting, or as a warning. The spirit takes a deep breath and bellows silently. A distant cry echoes along the cavern.
Run!
You sought escape, but something stalked you. You fled, it followed. You came across a pile of bones. In that moment, you knew that this would be your fate. An ancient memory overwhelms you. You are no longer you, but you still sense source saturating the air, more than you have ever felt before. You watch a figure stride through a cavern of amethyst and rose quartz. A man. No light touches this place, yet the stones and minerals illuminate his way. The man approaches a pearl sphere atop a pedestal. He lays his hands upon it, and source rushes through his fingers, and you are thrust back into reality. The memory fades, but you still sense the source the man has commanded, as if you'd possessed it for yourself. You lose yourself in an ancient vision. As the man you saw before touches the pearl orb, you begin to feel yourself be. Various shades of grey swirl across the globe's surface, then part. You are free, joined by 7 others, summoned by sacrificial source. The 8 of you rush forth as shadows, past the globe, past the man whose body now lies limp on the floor, past the jeweled walls. The vision ends just as you emerge from the cavern. This memory, it feels ancient, a lost place in a lost time. You turn away from the sunset, only to see that Stanley has dropped to one knee. He holds out a ring to you with a sheepish grin. Your hands fly up to cover your mouth, but too late to prevent a happy gasp of surprise from escaping. You didn't think he had it in him. You keep your eyes shut tight, muttering rapid prayers to the 7. All around you is a cacophony of wails, whimpers and cries for help. You try to shut them out and pray with even more desperate fervor. A loud, inhuman roar suddenly cuts through the cacophony. You cover your ears with your hands and pray on. You fall into another memory. You emerge from the crystalline caves, past the orange rubble jutting from the ground, and rise above a shimmering lake. Surrounding the lake is a throng of figures, your worshippers, our worshippers. They will deliver your rightful power to you. You will be as gods. The mob drops to its knees as one. The shimmering lake, once placid, begins to boil and bubble, draining source from every supplicant. The past fades into the present. You see through your own eyes once again.
A sorcerer? Still wearing the collar, too.
Is this where the flying Voidwoken took those poor souls from the beach?
What are you doing? They're close. I can feel them. Run. For the love of the Seven, run. There's no time. Run, you idiot. Run!
I yield to none!
Know each other.
Stop it, that tickles! Glory is mine!
Get your damn dirty claws off me!
Do we know each other? I feel like we've dated! Prepare yourself!
Prepare yourself.
Where they go? Wherever it is. Wherever...
Well, we won't find
we won't find them
we
by
won't
gabbing
find
here.
them by gabbing here.
Get out before he knows you're here. You think I stopped to get a name? They locked him up, but he got out, and they went crazy. They all went crazy. Run. If you know what's good for you, run.
What's this? I found something.
A Voidwoken tunnel. It may lead us to safety.
pretty sure the results were different yesterday, but I've changed nothing.
They fed me to their young. They chewed on my flesh as I screamed. They ate my flesh, and they want more. They want my source. I've seen them sucking up ghosts, swallowing them whole. They cannot be stopped. They can Mordes. I heard that name on the lips of the dwarves. They screamed it as they killed each other.
I'll yield to none.
I couldn't stop them. I didn't think... I would have said you had lost your mind, but...
She looks around the chamber, taking in the sea of cracked, broken eggs and dead Voidwoken.
But perhaps there is hope.
Prepare yourself.
I'll yield now.
The dwarf sways in front of you. His eyes are unfocused, and he seems to be mumbling something to himself.
84 tankards of beer in a cave, 84 tankards of beer. Pick one up, tip back your cup.
The ghost grasps at the handle of his mug and stares in confusion as his hand passes right through it.
4 tankards of beer. Oh, no, that ain't right. I'm just trying to enjoy one last drink before I go on duty. I'll be down guarding Mordus. Gets cold down in that vault. Figured a drink or two to guard against the chill wouldn't hurt, eh? Dead? Who are you trying to fool, mate? I might have been hitting the beer, but I reckon you've had one too many spirits, eh? Eh? Spirits, get it? Nah, I'll just have one more and then I'm off. Just one more.
Alive. The little ones, once they burst out of their eggs, they ate me screaming. I don't understand. Why did this happen? Why wasn't the Divine here to save me? Too little, too late. I'm already dead, and Rivellon's been on its own for too long now.
The spirit's hands are clamped firmly over her ears. Her mouth is firmly closed, and her eyes are squeezed shut. As you reach out, you hear a dry, crackling voice.
Kill the dwarves. They are not your friends. They are not your allies. They must die. They must all die. And when the eggs hatch, when beautiful life bursts forth, give yourself to it. Lay down your head and rest. Your duty will be done. Let them come. Do not fight it. Let them bite you. Let them feed.
You pull away with a jerk, gasping for breath. The dwarf whimpers a little in front of you.
Never thought I'd be relieved to die like that. If you hadn't come along, I would have been eaten by them damn hatchlings we were guarding. I wish I could tell you, but my brain ain't quite straight. It's still full of Mordus's fog. All I know is I were to guard those eggs with my life. And once they cracked open, I was to lay down my weapon and let them eat me. You spared me from that at least. Thank you. Be damned if I know. We had him locked up tight in the hole beneath his office, waiting for Lohar's go-ahead before we threw him off the cliff. Then, the next thing you know, I hear this voice. His voice telling me to kill. And my hand went for my dagger.
The rat gives you a malevolent stare.
I'll gnaw your bloody bones. I'll kill you stone dead. Not crazy, real. I saw the light in the dark on the Peacemaker's last trip, safe in the hold. Not crazy, real. Saw nothing, but smelled everything. Smelled life, smelled death, smelled it seeping out of the barrels. Death sailing into the rocks.
The rat crouches low and gives you an evil look.
Huh, ain't no way out but an hole in the ground, Ha! Dig your hole wherever you like, The void is coming and all is nothing. Dig your hole wherever you like, that's the key.
The rat crouches low and gives you an evil look. The spirit stares at you, through you. When she opens her mouth to speak, her voice seems to drift to you from far away, as if half-dreamed.
We keep the shipments here. That's what's meant for ships. It ends up in our carts, trundling away. Arks! The barrels are rolling all the way to Arks. And when they get there, the air will turn to screams. Dying, choking, screams. It wafts on the wind. The black ring choked. Arks will choke. They will all choke. Mordus?
A dreamy smile spreads across her face.
You don't look for Mordus.
She comes back to herself for the first time and looks you in the eye.
Mordus looks for you.
Perhaps if I modify the essential substrate with the...
You shut your eyes and try to block out the sensation of giant mandibles nuzzling your flesh. You hear it click-clack away. You daren't move, not after you saw what happened to the last one who tried to run. What do these things want?
The payload of the Peacemaker is here. I can feel its power.
God, what's the use?
The dwarven woman hums to herself as she works with total focus and concentration. Her ears twitch at your approach, but she does not turn to you.
Yes. What's this, woman? I know a bomb when I see it. Out with it!
Ah, one of Lohar's, are you? You should know better than to stick your clumsy fat fingers in the Queen's secret operations.
Beast raises his fists in a rage. You're not sure whether he intends to crush the dwarf or the machine she's tinkering with. Beast's fists slam down hard onto the device. Shards fly from it in all directions, and a red light flickers on.
Looks like you've had some technical difficulties, eh?
I know what you look like. I'll report you. Queen Justinia will have vengeance.
As you approach the dwarven scientist, Ifan pulls you aside.
I recognize the device on the table there. I need to talk to her. Now.
You see Ifan in earnest conversation with the dwarven woman. All of a sudden, he pales and staggers backwards. The woman laughs, a tinkling sound like glass smashing on a stone floor.
You thought that was a rift portal? Lord, no, it's nothing of the sort. It's a special device that carries only a very special cargo. Specifically, death fog.
No. No. Lucian would never.
Ifan freezes with resolve, and a cold anger emanates from him. In one fluid move, he steps close to her, knife point to throat. Without a flicker of fear on her face, she smirks arrogantly back at him.
I wouldn't go there if I were you. I work directly for Queen Justinia, and she doesn't take kindly to meddlers. And to be honest, I've reached the end of my tether with what I can do here. So, if you want to harass somebody, hang on. Hanig, the original creator, should arrive here from Paradise Downs any day now.
Ifan whips away his blade and walks off. A single bead of crimson blossoms at the scientist's throat. She glares after his receding form before turning back to her work. The dwarven woman wrings her hands as she examines a contraption that looks broken beyond repair. Her ears twitch at your approach, but she does not turn to you.
Yes. I was carrying out important scientific work for Queen Justinia at that, but some horrid brute came along and smashed it all. All my progress lost. You can't even imagine what a setback this is. Though I'm not quite sure who you are or what business you have here.
She flinches in fear and begins to stammer an answer to.
I was trying to fix up this delivery device. Same little beauty the Order used to wipe out the Black Ring, with a side order of elves, in the last war. But I'm afraid it's beyond repair now. Maybe the original maker can fix it. A lizard named Hanig. Crazy smart, crazy all round really. She should get here from Paradise Downs any day now. Queen Justinia's orders, of course. Can't really say any more than that to you. It delivers death fog, of course. This is a slightly modified version of what the Order used during the war. Ruined! That brute!
Not much of a landlubber, but sometimes I get no choice in the matter. Besides, there's business to take care of. First of all, I'm rash. If that comes as some kind of surprise, you've not been paying attention. Second of all, that tinkerer, or weaponsmith, or whatever she wasn't knitting a sweater. That thing was made to kill dwarves, and I was made to smash it. Any questions? No? Good.
Well now, how's my...
Ifan claps you on the shoulder.
Come on, let's keep moving. Ooh, double the fun. Maybe he can teach us a thing or two while he's digging up that demon.
What, this old gaggle of weirdos? My kind of salty old crank. She certainly seems to want to help us. You don't get many of those in life. I've learned to appreciate them where I find them.
Even if the runes were gold, right? I still couldn't be stopping out the diagnostics.
The manifest said there was death fog. But there's no death fog here.
The thought of death fog gives you pause. A weapon like that should give everyone pause.
Ah, Death Fog. Instant victory. I always applauded Lucian for using it.
I wouldn't use this garbage against my worst enemies. Some lines ought never to be crossed.
A weapon of untold destruction? And you use this against your own kind, knowing it ends their existence? How efficient.
I've seen this. Seen Death Fog in action. Such horror has no place in this world.
Who wakes up in the morning and thinks, today I'll invent something that'll be able to murder people by the hundreds?
This scourge, this destroyer of my people should be wiped from the face of the earth.
Not enough source to complete the ritual. You made it all the way here, you creeping little maggots. Have you... My lord had faith. He came to me when Lohar failed the queen, and as a reward for my service, he has granted me his favor. He has granted me Mord Akhaim. You are not worthy to know my savior, but if you won't bow to me in this life, you'll bow to him in the next. Into the dirt. Give in, Godwoken. Your time is done.
Glory is mine! I need aid!
Mercy!
The Master Sorcerer throws up his pocked, cracked arms to defend himself as you step forward. The undead dwarf looks quickly over its shoulder, his gaze darting from shadow to shadow.
Of course! Anything! Just name it! What? Source?
The skeleton slowly lowers his arms, staring at you in disbelief.
Of course. You're God-woken. You seek power. Ultimate power. And I worried we could not find common ground. Yes, God-woken, I can teach you. If you swear you won't banish me to the afterlife. The death of the flesh is one of the smallest deaths. I have not passed on to the Hall of Echoes, nor do I ever intend to. Please, God-woken, let me walk away, and I swear I will show you all I know. That is not important. Just please tell me, do we have an accord or not? Am I not? How many others have survived the Magister's witch hunt?
The skull before you curls into a maggot-eating grin.
No, you need me. So I teach you and you spare me. Do we have an accord? Wait, no, please! I'll teach you! Just please, have mercy! It's the void! You must embrace the void before you can gain more source.
The skeleton reaches into the folds of his robes and pulls out a small black mass. It's covered in veins, oozing pus, and seems to be missing a piece. He presents it with a faint grin.
Here, God-woken. Take a bite. The finest meal you'll find in this cave. The heart of a void-woken.
Your god stirs, pushing you to eat it. Do not fear, a voice whispers. Do what must be done.
Perhaps not the most appetizing thing around, but if you truly want to channel more source...
The skeleton extends his arm, jiggling the heart towards you. A glob of dark yellow pus oozes through the bones of his palm and drips to the ground.
You can demand until we're both dust. That's the only answer I have to give. If you don't like it, you can wait until they arrive to take a bite out of you. The decision is yours, God-woken. I'll not wait here for you to make it.
Mordus looks at you in shock. His skull twists into a mask of rage as comprehension dawns and oblivion opens before him.
Liar! Traitor! I hope he rips your guts out your ears!
The frail skeleton is still screaming obscenities when you bring your weapon down, caving in his skull. The jaw falls silent, dropping to the floor with a crack, and the pile of bones lies silent. The ghost turns to you, her finger urgently pointing towards something unseen. Silent lips move, issuing an urgent, unheard plea. Your hands merge together, your world twisting. Looking down, you see you're holding a barrel marked with a fatal warning. Death fog. A cart contains many barrels more, recovered from a wrecked ship. The room is filled with voices, cracking jokes and swearing oaths as you go about unloading the cart. But somewhere, in the hum of voices, one cuts through the rest. Stop, it hisses. Do your duty. You lift up the death fog, and, fighting against every step, you walk back to the cart. You pass a dwarf, struggling against the voice and winning. But you crack his skull with a barrel in your hands. One by one, the barrels are loaded again, and the cart departs. As it trundles out of the cave, the voice returns, "Come, come to me." And you feel your feet carrying you into the cavern's darkness.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt anyone. But he made me. That voice, he made me. I let him out of the vault. I killed anyone that got in the way. And then I sat here as he gibbered about needing to complete his bloody Mordecai. Damn Divino. Some ancient ritual, he said. It gave him the power to twist our minds, to turn us into his puppets. And when he was strong enough, it turned him into... that. He thought it was a reward. Kept saying how blessed he was. What madness.
The ghost stares down at his broken, twisted body, a look of glum resignation on his face.
It ain't a pretty way to go, mind you. Could be a damn sight better than whatever Lohar would have done if he'd got his hands on us. Mind control or no, he'll be livid when he finds out what we did.
A letter with a dwarf seal.
Fine paper. It looks important.
That's from Queen Justinia. Great gilded galleons. What's it say? Death fog. Nasty stuff. Overkill for a bunch of scattered rebels, though. Justinia's stooping lower than even I thought possible. Hard to say. That mad doctor Isbale's the one who pulls the Queen's strings. No idea who's pulling hers. All I know is that we don't want death fog catching a ride on the roaring Ark's winds. Long as that stuff's around, no one's safe.
Even dead, I don't get no peace. You need something. What's it look like? Either there were a void-woken attack, or this is the most unfortunate dinner party you ever did see. Now shove off. I've got an afterlife to enjoy, and your jabbering ain't making it easy. Walk on, heartbeat. I've got nothing to say to you.
The dwarf pulls a dagger with shocking dexterity and reflexively swings at your gut. Thankfully, the ephemeral blade passes right through you. With a rancid look, the dwarf pockets the knife. As he does so, you spot the royal seal of the Dwarven Queen on the handle. Through gritted teeth, the dwarf growls.
We're done here.
Don't worry about it, says Lohar. Quietest work around, says Lohar. Well, I don't see him here, cold as the stone he's lying on. It will be fine, my arse. And here I was, the fool, believing him.
The ghost swings a foot to kick its old body in frustration, but the boot sails straight through her corpse.
Because it's his fault. If not for him, I'd still be sitting there, wine in hand, happy as Larry. But no, he knew best. He wanted the death fog destroyed. That's why we were to make sure it got into the right hands. Our hands! I even stood guard of Mordus when he was doing nothing but the Queen's bidding. No wonder we came to this. This is what I deserve for following the orders of a leader with the spine of a sponge. Thank Duna Her Majesty has more steel in her belly than that coward. You're a little tool to be asking questions like that. Her Majesty is trying to do what's best for the dwarf people. And there's not a thing more you need to know.
Even dead, what's it look like? No, shove off. Her Majesty's business.
As soon as you move towards him, with a rancid look, the...
We're...
Don't worry, it will be...
The ghost swings...
Because it's... But no. He knew best. A yellow gut. I followed his orders. This is what I... Only everything, brother. Only everything. Don't you worry, though. She knows what's...
fog's melting away. Mordor's turned the key into an amulet. Cunning. And I thought this cave couldn't get any more grim.
I do not want to know what that smell is.
Death, most likely. Watch your step. Look out! I see a trap nearby.
the wreck of the Peacemaker. Some of her cargo may remain.
The spirit hovers before you. It looks into your eyes and reaches out a hand of smoke and gossamer, silently begging you to take it. You feel the boards creak under your boots. The smell of salt and pitch fills your nose. You check the knots securing your cargo, hands moving over rough rope in the darkness. There's a shout from above decks, and then the world turns upside down. You're pitched violently sideways as the planks around you rip apart and black water floods in. The current twists and tears at you, battering you against the ship's cargo. You hang on until a small box comes loose, cracking against your skull as it's dragged away by the torrent. As your vision fades to black, you see the walls shudder as the Peacemaker snaps in two. You awake to the flicker of torchlight and the sound of voices. Here, crack this and open. With locks like these, there'll be something good inside. You hear the snap of a latch being broken and a long, low whistle. Get word to Lohar. The Reds are shipping death fog. Send your fastest runner. Go! You lie still for a minute, until you feel a rough kick to the ribs. Thought I saw a twitch, says the dwarf, looming over you. Well now, ain't you an unfortunate little flounder? She growls before clamping her hand across your mouth and nose. Sorry, hun, no witnesses allowed. You kick and struggle weakly, desperately trying to catch a breath, but the dwarf's grip is iron. As your vision starts to swim, you see other dwarves moving in the torchlight, hauling your cargo off the ship. You give one last kick and then... darkness. Stepping back from the spirit, the feeling of her panic starts to slowly fade from your mind. The angelic figure stands upon a mosaic. Your eyes flutter closed.